Hello, everyone, and
Oh,
welcome to this week's live stream from Propulsion Swimming. We're back down. We're back.
we're back.
There's more British in.
I know it's been a long month, hasn't it? It's been a long month, but we're excited. We're excited. There's been some top swims this morning, so really looking forward to tonight.
Yeah. So tonight's live stream, we are covering the first final session of the British Para Swimming International Meet up in Sheffield. This is the first meet of what is going to be 2 weeks of some very good British racing.
It's going to be very exciting, isn't it? So it's the first, I think it's 4 days this meet, isn't it, for the paras, and then 2-day break, and then there's 5 days for the able bodies, which happens next week. So
yeah,
things to look forward to, definitely.
So if anyone has followed our social medias over the last 24 hours, you will know that we are not going to be alone for this live stream. We have a special guest with us.
We do. I mean, if you've been on Twitter, then you'll know.
Welcome to Propulsion Swimming live stream, Jack Bridge. How are you doing, Jack?
I'm great, thanks very much. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to some great racing tonight. We've had a pretty decent morning, some British records, some qualification standards being produced. So, yeah, let's just crack on with final sessions and let's hope for a few more people with putting their name on the team sheet for Tokyo.
Definitely. So Jack is going to be our kind of Paralympic expert. He is a British record holder in 100 and 200 meters breaststroke, if I remember correctly.
And a few more, yeah. So part of the medley relay, both long and short. Like I think I've got about 9 in total. So, but yeah, it's just so good to see the next generation of swimmers start to come through and really start to hopefully push those British records. But not for too much. Not too soon. Not too soon.
Not while you're on the live stream with us.
Yeah, exactly.
So tonight,
literally see the colour fade.
So on tonight's program, we have, I believe, 3 events, of which there are A, B finals for the first 2 events. So we have the women's and men's 100 meters freestyle, the women and men's 200 meters individual medley, and then I believe a joint final for the 150 meters medley to finish off.
Yeah, we had one woman enter the 150 meter individual medley, so they thought it'd be a better idea to combine it, which I thought was great. It would be much better to have, I think there's 5 swimmers in total. It's better to put them all together than have the one swimmer, which was our biggest bugbear, wasn't it, during the Manchester meet? So I'm pretty glad that they did that.
Yeah, there's no swimmers swimming by themselves. It's really good to see kind of a full pool, which we saw all morning.
Yeah, it was actually really nice to see. Some really good swims as well. Let's talk about that before we get talking about tonight's swims. Starting off then, Tony Shaw was half a second off her British record in the 100 free. And then as far as I know, we got 3 PBs in for the men. 2 PBs for the men, Jordan Catchpole and Ollie Carter in the 100 free. And then a monster PB by Katie Crowhurst in the 200 IM. I think that came from nowhere. I'm not even sure she was expected to make the final, but she's one of the fastest seeds going into it. So look out for her when she steps up. And then Lyndon Longhorn, massive British record. God, it was just a monster swim. I don't know if you saw it, Jack, but that was really impressive.
Yeah, really special. I know he's been training really hard for this particular phase of the season. I think he's changed programs. He's gone back to Derwent side and to Paul Woodley, which is a great program up there in the northeast. And obviously the change of program, change of training environment has obviously paid off. And he's that's like you say, it was a monster swim this morning, and hopefully it goes quicker again tonight.
Yeah. So what I will do is I will caveat this whole live stream like we do every time that we don't have permission to show the actual swimming taking place. British women haven't given that to us. But the whole idea is you follow along at home with us, kind of your audio, an alternative commentary and live reactions from, well, one of the most experienced para swimmers out there, joining both me and Dan for the racing.
It's going to be exciting. I can't wait for it.
It's been a month build up, hasn't it?
Yeah, I want to pick Jack's brain as well. What the lead up to trials, what these sort of swimmers are going to be thinking. Obviously the big aim is to get to Tokyo. Will that actually the pressure be too much for some swimmers, or does that pressure actually help them get to the faster standards? But we'll go through that as the stream goes on, I'm sure.
Yeah, so unlike previous Olympic trials, this isn't the dead certain of qualification. If you miss the qualification time at this meet, there are future chances for you to hit it. It's a bit more open-ended, unlike it has been at previous years where it's one-shot trials and you're in, you're not in. And that, I believe, is purely based on coronavirus. They want to give people as much opportunity to qualify as possible.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah. Obviously, safety has got to be the key thing. I did say on Twitter that there was an hour break in this morning's session, which I thought was a little bit. I worded it as unnecessary, but actually, I did have tweets come in saying there's got to be a certain amount of people in the building, so the swimmers in the first races then had to leave the building for the next swimmers to come into the, that sort of stuff. That's why it was an hour.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was actually a warm up. There was actually a gap there to do another warm up for the later on sessions.
Well, that would make sense, and so yeah. I'm glad someone pointed that out to me, because now it makes sense in my head, and hopefully it's helped other people as well. But the officials are out. It looks like we're getting going soon.
So what's the first event on the cards is the 100 meters freestyle. Who are the names to look out for? Because we have an A and B final here.
We do. Well, we've got two GB swimmers in Danielle Harkin and Leo O'Connell, both of which did pretty well. Leo O'Connell went to 126, with her PB being 122. Danielle was slightly off the pace. She was about 10 seconds off her PB, but maybe she knew she was going to make the final, and we'll see. I don't remember her racing at the Manchester meet, so maybe there's a bit of rustiness to shake off. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll see. Do you reckon that's a big factor, Jack? The rustiness? They haven't swam for, the best part of a year.
Oh, absolutely. And I know some pools around the country have been open to help some of the para swimmers, continue their training program. I know Manchester, obviously, the home of para swimming, has been open the whole time. But obviously, every situation, every athlete's different, and moving away from home during a global pandemic might be seriously scary. So if they haven't had access to, a proper training facility, then that could cause some real issues. So yeah, there's a few names on this S14 list, specifically in this 100 freestyle, because you're looking towards the S14 100 freestyle relay, and there's a few S14s that are missing, most notably Jessica Jane Applegate. I know she's been training in a hot tub, in her back garden. So it's been really, really difficult. But do you know what? Credit to British Swimming, credit to para swimming and the IPC for getting this event on. And I'm just really excited to see how they can go. In terms of Danielle, I don't think she was wearing her race suit this morning, so perhaps she had some, saving a little bit for the tank tonight. So yeah, let's just wait and see.
And it's really good to see that there's actually international swimmers as well joining us. And I think you said a few of them might actually be training in Britain. Yep.
So from personal experience, I trained up in Newcastle for the last couple of years of my career, and I was training with an athlete called Takayuki Suzuki, who is pretty much the face of the Paralympics in Japan. He's not swimming at this meet; he's still in Japan. Their trials are towards the end of May. So I'll be watching Taka's progress, obviously with keen interest, because my coach, who took me to London, Louise Graham, is Taka's coach and has sorted Taka's program out all the way through from about 2015 through to now. So they've had a long-standing relationship, and obviously have a vested interest in seeing how Taka gets on. But the athlete's coming out for the first heat, so it should be good. Looking forward to it.
I'm honestly surprised how many international swimmers have turned up. I thought there would be a lot more restrictions for international travel. And I thought it is predominantly British swimmers, but at the same time, there are quite a few international swimmers. I'm really quite surprised. Not that I'm complaining. They need this competition. This is great.
I think it actually falls under the elite athlete sporting exemption.
So kind of the same as footballers.
Pretty much, yeah. So, there was transfers that went on in January and September last year, and I think it's the same deal that they have to kind of produce a negative test, and then they retest after 3 days, and then they can swim. So it's it's really amazing because it gives us a chance to swim against the best in the world. And obviously, not every nation is represented here, but they've come far from Japan. I think there's a partnership between British Paraswimming and the Japanese Paralympic Association. So do you know what? Like credit to the athletes coming over, because it is risky. It's a scary time, isn't it? So for them to come out and get their preparation right for I was going to say Rio then, for Tokyo, it's every credit to them.
Okay, so first race is about to kick off. Who are we looking out for here? The middle lanes, obviously, unlike this morning, it's a spearheaded lineup. This morning was rather weird that they just did it across the pool. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with coronavirus safety or it's just a staple of the para heats.
I think it's to make sure that the swimmers of the same speed are actually right next to each other, if that makes sense. So, if it's spearheaded, if you're in lane 9 and lane 0, they're the slower swimmers, if you like, but they're the furthest apart. So I don't know if it's to do with making sure swimmers of closest speed are next to each other, so it's more competitive for them. That's what I was told by a para parent, so I don't know if that's actually the case, but I feel like it would be. Makes sense to me anyway.
It makes
Your
sense.
guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, then why not do it for the finals?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know.
The golden lanes are a bit more special in the finals, right?
Yeah.
That's the aim, isn't it? You want to be in the golden lanes. That's the whole idea of spearheading. So, but as expected, it's just 3 middle lanes that are taken out. And Daniel looking quite good actually. What time did she go this morning again? 1:12.
1:12. Yeah.
So she's probably
on track. Turning 34.5. So if she can push through the last kind of 10-15 meters, it's going to look good for going quicker heat to final, which is all you can ask for, really.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we always say. All you can do is improve from your heats in the finals, and then if you personal best, then you've done awesome. I wouldn't worry too much about qualification times. If they happen, they happen.
Absolutely.
Well, what is the qualification?
You end up just putting way too much stress on yourself, and it's not conducive to high performance swimming. You've got to take all the stresses and eliminate those stresses whilst you go into these trials and try and focus on the only thing that you can control, and that's you against the clock.
Yeah,
I did find it fascinating when we interviewed you for our podcast, kind of just how much you're able to block out and focus on the moment. Do these sort of swimmers have kind of psychological preparation that will happen away from the pool?
Absolutely. I think we spoke about on the podcast that for me personally, visualization was a massive, massive tool that I could use. I could almost replicate the whole race in my head in preparation for swimming. So I'd go into a dark room, put my hoodie on, and just take a stopwatch in and go through my whole race and work out my splits. And I got within 0.2 of a second of my final time at London, which was crazy if you think about it. You're just sitting in a dark room. You have no kind of distraction from anything else. And when you step out in front of the massive crowd, there will be no doubt in Tokyo in the summer, to block out all that noise and try and only affect what you can, which is the 50 meters by 2.5 meters length of swimming pool.
Yep.
That's what it all comes down to. All you can do is be better than you have been before. And if you put all the effort in, then, it hopefully pays off when it matters the most.
Is that the sort of thing that you practice in training, or does it just come from race experience?
Yeah, well, it's repetition, isn't it? We train when we were in the lead up to London, I trained in 16-week blocks. So we'd have a block before Christmas, a block before trials, and a block before the games, give or take a couple of weeks. And you go through those same preparations every single day. So you work on starts, you work on turns, you work on specific technique, you work on your speed, you work on your fitness. And it all plays in, and the mental preparation is just as important as your starting practice. So being able to kind of shut everything out, shut all the noise out. And as John Atkinson said, the performance director at London, he said, control the controllables. And he was absolutely spot on when he said that.
Okay, so we have a little pause between each heat, each final. That's kind of typical, if I'm honest, of this whole meet. They are allowing swimmers, or they're making swimmers, get out, take their belongings, go back away, get away from the blocks. They get sprayed down. It's all COVID measures. So that it's not going to be quite as quick fire as Manchester, seemingly. But there's still obviously a lot of racing to go on.
Yeah, I mean, Of course, for swimmers or parents, anyone who's watching isn't quite aware of the whole para thing that goes on. Even if you finish first in a race, that doesn't guarantee you actually winning the race. It all comes down to the points. And I'm sure Jack will back me up on this, or probably put me in my place, I suppose. But 1,000 points is the world record, basically, and you want to try and get as close to that as possible. Usually, if you're in a 900 point sort of region, you're probably highly likely going to win the race. But I think that's one thing to look out for. Even though a swimmer who touches the wall first looks like they win, but they might actually end up last potentially. But depends on the classification, you see. So that's something to watch out for as well.
It can be confusing, but when we get to Tokyo in the summer, each of the athletes, they swim their own classification. So when we get to the games in the summer, it'll be whoever touches the wall first wins the gold medal. So this is just because we don't obviously have the population of athletes to kind of formulate. And also, the Paralympic Games is the longest swim meet in the world. It's 10 days. So if you can imagine that replicated for a trials that's supposed to be crammed into 3 days, it just doesn't make sense. So
there's a lot of race in there.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see how Hannah Russell goes here. So she's a S12 athlete. I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah, S12. And she's based in Manchester. I've known Hannah since before London. We went through the talent and the development programs through British Swimming together. And to see how she blossomed at London and came through at Rio, it's a really kind of, I'm really, hoping she does well here and kind of goes under that qualification time, which at the minute is, if I can get it up on my screen. That's the man. See, I was just not as prepared as you gentlemen. 61, so she needs 61, 61.7. So hopefully she can dip under the qualification time. She's got about a second, 1.2 seconds to take off.
And a highly competitive field to do it in.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm really looking forward to Alice Tai, actually, because I haven't seen her swim for ages now, it feels like. And of course, she's world record holder in some events and a lot of British records like yourself, Jack. And I'm really interested to see how she does. It looks quite comfortable from her this morning, going 67. Her PB is 63.6, I believe, which is a British record. I'm really interested to see how she goes, really.
Absolutely.
Dan, why don't you go through the start list for this A final?
Oh, man, that's what I've got to try and pronounce some of these names now. All right. So in lane 1 is Tatiana Lebrun. That's lane 0. Lane 1 is Alice Tai. Lane 2 is Susanna Cole. Lane 3, Tony Shaw. Lane 4, Louise Fides. 5 is Hannah Russell. 6 is Emmeline Pierre. Lane 7 is Hernandez Santos. Stephanie Millward is in lane 8, and then Claire Supul is in lane 9.
So several British record holders in this race. Tony Shaw, Alice Tai, Hannah Russell, they've all got the British record. So it's whether they can get anywhere near that mark. I know paraswimming so far from Manchester and even this meet this morning, we've seen British records tumble galore, just constantly.
Absolutely. I think what's important to mention at this point is whilst the girls have dived in, and it's obviously a good start by the middle lanes, Hannah Russell and Louise Fides. Joe, I just wanted to bring up a point. My understanding going into this meet that Alice Tai was an S8. She's on the start list as an S9. So perhaps the classification system has been under review this year and at this meet specifically, and she may have moved up a class. I will have to go and check that, but it does look like she's moved from an S8 to S9. So that's an interesting bit of news for you gentlemen there.
Yeah, because I've got her down as an S8 as well. So I'm not sure, because of course you were telling us about Ollie Hind, who's currently going through his sort of change of classification potentially as well. I think we'll get onto that later on, because he was supposed to be racing this morning and didn't. So we'll get onto that later on. But it's a cracking race here. It's going to be a blanket finish between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. And Louise Fides and Hannah Russell going stroke for stroke.
Yeah.
So it's one in a 1:01.09. The graphics, again, are not the best.
They struggle, don't they?
But Hannah Russell goes under the qualification standard for Tokyo, which is a great swim for her.
And I believe Louise Fides, that's a new PB by 0.01 seconds.
Oh, a PB's a PB.
Shave the tiny bit off.
Yeah, you'll take it. Any PB's a PB.
You're not going to moan, are you? Stephanie Millward was a second quicker as well than this morning, which is all you can ask for, really. But yeah, I mean that's what we're all here for, trying to get on the plane to Tokyo, and Hannah Russell has done it, so she's going.
Yeah, fantastic effort.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a wait until we actually see the final results. So the points are pulled up on the screen. So as you can see, Hannah Russell has won. Tony Shaw actually came in second, and then Louise Fides in third.
Again, that's a really important swim for Louise. If Rob Aubrey and Chris Faber decide to take that S14 freestyle relay, then that'll be a really positive swim for her. Tony Shaw, another great swim. I think that's underneath the qualification standard as well. Yes, it is. That's 104.01. So that's a great swim from her. Alice Tye just misses out with a 65.6. So yeah, I think there must be a classification.
Will there have been kind of a classification review the morning before this racing happened? Because I know you said it happens in Sheffield. That's where you got classified.
Yeah. So before any major meet, there'll be some form of classification process that goes on, usually in the lead up to the meet. So it'll have either happened on Tuesday or Wednesday before swimming started today. So yeah, she'll be under review the whole weekend. And then once she goes through the weekend, she'll get a final review and a confirmation of, what her review will look like going forward. So
it's interesting that happens at such a major meet.
Exactly.
It must throw you off so much because you've got that constant air.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
absolutely. But that's why you can't. That's why you can't rely on. That's why you can't get comfortable in paraswimming, because someone can come out of the blue 3 months before the Paralympic Games, rock up to Tokyo, get classified, and then win like 6 gold medals. So. That's always the risk with paraswimming. You just never know who's around the corner and going to dominate the sport for the next little period of time. So Alice absolutely dominated the world at S8, and I'm sure she was still quite a strong S9 to me. I think the qualification standard's exactly the same, which is strange. Considering the difference in world record, but that might be because she's got both world records.
Potentially. Yeah, that makes sense actually.
That's good going, that.
God, can you imagine?
But the same thing happened to Joseph Craig, a really close friend of mine. He was an S7, dominated London, dominated the World Championships the year after. And then we get to the 2014 European Championships, and the trials before that, he was moved up a class to S8, and he wasn't as competitive. He wasn't breaking world records, but he still managed to kind of put in a really strong performance in the lead up to Rio and managed to come away with a bronze medal, which was, for me, a personal highlight from the Rio Games.
It's kind of just that added bit of adversity to these swimmers that
absolutely.
It's like, it feels, I don't know, is there much overlap between the classifications? Do people move about quite a lot? Because as we said, Alice Tye's moved.
It depends. Honestly, it's a difference between 1 or 2 different points, and if you gain a couple of points, you're in one classification. If you lose another, you could be moved down a couple of classifications. So honestly, it's not, like I said on the podcast, it's not a perfect system, but we try and make it as level as possible, and that's what we can do, really.
Yeah, because I was trying to find out the difference between the physical impairments, the sort of S7, 8, 9, and the description seems very similar. I mean, cerebral palsy comes in all sorts of different fashions, mild or severe, and it just seems to me, not being a paraswimmer or experience that sort of side of it, it's very confusing. Especially those 3, and that's it confused me, especially when I saw the qualification times that some were the same. Difficult to get my head around, but
absolutely. But like I said, it's literally 1 or 2 points that. My stream's buffering here.
Oh,
that's not great. No, that's it. But it's so similar. But also, sometimes you can have a reclassification where someone who is dominating in a higher classification gets moved down a class. So, for example, Alice was already a world-class athlete at S9 classification. She moved down to an S8, so she started smashing the world records in the S8 classification by an absolute mile. And maybe the classification process is thought, well, you are a mile ahead, so perhaps we might move you back into the S9 category, so you're not as dominating as you were. But it happened in the S10 category. So there's a well-known New Zealand athlete called Sophie Pascoe. She was an S10, and she got moved down to an S9, and she protested that she didn't want to go down to an S9 because she enjoyed the competitiveness of being an S10. She was top of the world in everything other than breaststroke. Fantastic athlete, and just madness to see her in the S9 classification, but she doesn't make the rules.
Okay, so we have more racing in the water. We have the B final of the men's 100 meters freestyle. Dan, do you want to try and pronounce some names again?
I don't really, actually. I think you should try and do it for once, rather than me having to do it. We do have a swimmer who's pulled out, actually, which is a big shame. I think it's the one I can't pronounce, the Sergei Kineg. I've butchered the name, but that's the way it's going to be. But we've got British swimmers in the pool in William Perry, who's in lane 2, and then Michael Jones in lane 6. Also Gavin Roberts in lane 5. So that's the British contingent. But it's a very strong swim. That's Gavin Roberts, isn't it, out in front there?
It is, yeah.
It's adopting the gallop stroke, which you like.
Oh, yeah. Has he gone sub-minute? Oh, just missed it. Just missed it.
Again, the S14 classification is so competitive in GB. You'll see in the next heat that it's absolutely stacked. So I'm sure Gavin will have his time. He's only 22-ish. And he's going up against athletes like Alex Rossler, Lewis Lawler, Jordan Catchpole, of course. It's a really, really difficult classification to kind of penetrate. So for them, really good swim. Again, faster heat to final. So what more can we ask?
That's all you can ask for, isn't it?
I was going to say, I think every swimmer there went faster than their heat swim, which is perfect.
Michael Jones, obviously, we'll keep an eye on him. He'll be going for qualification in the 400 meters freestyle, which is a little bit later on in the week.
Yeah, he's British record holder for that one, isn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely, and that'll be really competitive when they get to the games as well. One to watch out for.
Oh, there you go, Dan. That's interesting. Gavin Roberts finished first, came last in that heat.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. There you go.
Example.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the A final now for the 100 meters freestyle, and this one, like Jack said, is loaded full of swimmers. The S14s are coming out strong in this one.
Absolutely, but I think the ones to watch out for are Stephen Clegg, Oliver Carter, and Johnny Booth. So they are the GB representation that aren't S14, who will be going for individual qualification on the 100 freestyle. So let's see and let's hope they can again go quicker heat to final and try and get their name on the team sheet.
Yeah, well, it was Jordan Catchpole of I was going to say a big PB, but it's 0.1 PB, which is more than enough for a swim. His PB before was 54.0. He went 53.9, so it's always a nice little barrier to get past. And see if he can do it again. I mean, he was one of the form swimmers in the 2 Manchester meets, and he's continuing his form.
Yeah, Absolutely. It's interesting to see that Rhys Dunn isn't racing it, considering he's the British record holder. He is racing a lot this weekend. Maybe it's a case of picking and choosing which races he wants to do and target at Tokyo.
I think it comes down to the fact that there's no individual 100 freestyle and he wants to focus on his 200 medley. I think wouldn't look any further into it other than he's posted a really quick time. The selection board will know his qualities and how fast he can go for the 100 meters freestyle. So, it's head down focus on what he can do in the 200 meters medley a little bit later on. This is a prime example. The 100 freestyle is a prime example of the differences in the jumps in classifications in terms of qualification time. So the S9 100 freestyle qualification time is 52.2, and the S8 is 59.8. That's a 7-second difference. Yeah. It's massive.
Yeah, that's
a big drop.
And
it's massive.
Those qualification times are based upon the current world records, aren't there? So if there is one standout swimmer who has got a ridiculously fast world record, like say if we do an able body comparison, Katie Ledecky has a ridiculous 800 time. The qualifying time for the Olympics, because of how fast she's gone, is stupid fast. And it's the same here. So if like you said, there's a really fast S9 swimmer in the world, that's the reason that time is so low.
Absolutely. And, these swimmers have just, like we've spoken about many times before, they would just need to go out there and try and do as best as they can do. And, they're also vying for relay spots. So Johnny Booth and Oliver Carter, if, there's some classifications lower on that might post times later in the year, there may be an opportunity for them to be part of a relay team. So they just need to swim their heart out and just wait and see what happens for the rest of the year. It's a really exciting time.
So when you say there's relay spots open, is it a mixed classification relay, or are they all S9, all S10?
Yeah, so how the relays work at the Paralympic Games are they have a specific S14 race. So obviously there's no other kind of classifications within the learning difficulty space. It's just S14, so that's just a straight relay. But when we get into the physical classifications, they are based on 34 points. So you can combine any form of classification as long as it adds up to 34 points. So you can have 2 S9s, 2 S8s, you can have 3 S10s and an S4, whatever kind of combination you can get to try and find the quickest combination, pretty much. So as long as obviously the classifications add up to 34 points, there's an opportunity for them to be part of that team. I was lucky enough to be part of a couple. The one at London was, we swam a 7, 8, 9, 10 in the heat, and then in the final we went 2 8s, 2 9s. Then the year after we went in Montreal, even though we got disqualified, we went a 10, a 7, a 9, and an 8. So yeah, you can see there's loads of different classifications, and do you know what? It's a really fun race to watch, because
I was going to say, yeah,
when you get to the final, there's so many different combinations of classifications that they're all muddled up until the last kind of 10, 15 meters, and someone might be swimming against an S3 swimmer who is up against an S10 swimmer who's gone like 52 point, and they're going, I don't know, like 130 or whatever, and seeing them catch them, have they got enough in the tank? Have they got enough? So it's a really fun race to watch, and usually finishes out the games. It's usually the last race.
It's a little bit like the mixed medley, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or mixed relays, where
exactly what is it? Yeah, exactly the same.
If you've got a man versus a woman, obviously the man's going to be catching up, and it's a little bit exciting. I can imagine it. Yeah. Must be awesome to be part of.
Race about to get underway for the 100 meters freestyle. The British names are the ones to obviously pay attention to if we're going to be slightly biased. Jordan Catchpole will probably win this in terms of in the pool.
Time-wise,
yeah.
But the time we're looking for, Stephen Clegg needs to go 53.84 for his. He went 54 point this morning, so let's see if he can do the business and bring it home tonight.
As expected, there's the 3 middle lanes are charging at the moment. The 3 Brits.
I mean, I'm looking at the times that they're doing for 100 freestyle here. All of these guys would beat me quite comfortably.
They're quick. I mean, they're not slow. These guys are not just the best in Britain. I mean, they're top in the world. So we should sort of celebrate how good they are, and the fact that they're British.
Big last 50 here for Stephen Clegg if he's going to get under that qualification time. Really needs to kick his legs and kind of find that extra little bit. 26.0 out. Let's see what he comes back in.
This is where you don't breathe for the last 5 meters. Get your head down.
53 sevens.
53.7. It's more PBs though, isn't it? PB for Jordan, that?
Yeah, that is a PB by 0.2.
Yeah.
Again, he's been constantly improving.
He has.
For months.
And Stephen Clegg underneath that qualification standard. Absolutely fantastic. Another name on the list to go along with Hannah Russell and a few others from this morning.
Will it really help him swimming in a mixed classification race like this, knowing that Jordan can drag him along to a faster time?
Normally I would say yes, but Stephen's blind, so probably not.
Oh, okay.
again, it's a case of him having to shut out everything else and just practice what he practices every single day, and that's swimming as fast as he can in a straight line both ways.
Wow, he's on a 53.7 and he's blind.
And it's pretty much like having Vaseline over your goggles. That's pretty much all he can see. So I'm sure he'll be acutely aware of the swimmers around him and where others are. But as we would see, he's sitting on someone's tail. He wouldn't have a clue. So absolutely unreal swim, and 851 points, really good score as well. So another name on the list for Tokyo in the summer.
We're rattling through the events. We're going through. We don't have any more A and B finals, I believe. I think we are straight finals from here on out.
No, it's going to be like a quick 20 minutes here. It's going to be quick fire now.
Back to the girls.
Yeah, 200 IM time, isn't it?
Yeah, Dan, go through the start list, and who are we looking out for?
Okay, so in lane 1 we got Brock Whiston, who was unfortunate
Zero.
actually. She got DQ'd, didn't she, in the 100 free this morning? She did a flyer. Really unfortunate. That's not the way you want to start a meet. But she's pulled it back anyway. She's made the final in the 200 IM. Lane 1 is Maisie Summers-Newton, who is I believe, the world record holder in this event for the S6. Watch out for her. She's got the outside lane. Lane 2 is Claire Sapau. She's from France anyway. Lane 3 is Casey Crowhurst. It's her birthday, by the way. Maybe we should wish her happy birthday. Massive PB for swim this morning. About
I was going to say, that's
PB.
a good way to celebrate your birthday, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
2.9 second PB.
Yeah, monster swim from her. Lane 4, Tatiana Lebrun from Belgium. Lane 5 is Abby Kane. Lane 6 is a name that I'm going to really struggle to pronounce here. Yulia Gordikuch.
You've done well. You've done well.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, Lane 7, Grace Harvey. And then lane 8, of course, is Ellie Simmons.
Part of the S6s, I think.
I was going to say, there's some depth here for S6 classifications. Is that the Ellie Simmons effect? Obviously, she's been
absolutely.
in the sport for so long.
Absolutely. She's fantastic. She's an inspiration to so many people up and down the country, from seeing her win gold in Beijing to her winning a memorable tuna medley. I remember watching that from the stands, watching it win that. Inspires. Maisie will openly talk about how inspirational that Ellie's been in to her career, but this is a really exciting prospect and event for GB going into Tokyo. That has the potential to be a 1, 2, 3 on the podium.
Yeah, potentially.
Can you take more than 2 swimmers then per classification?
Yeah, so it's 3 per event.
Oh, okay. Because
So there
able-bodied is limited to 2.
2, yeah.
Is that due to kind of the lack of depth in worldwide para swimming to get as many people there as possible?
Yeah, I assume so. I think it's more of a case that some countries may have classifications or an average classification which is a lot lower than others, and obviously if there's a lot lower, then the more opportunity to win medals in those less populated classifications. So it's just a case of being able to kind of populate as best they can each team, and obviously it gives more people a chance to become Paralympians and be successful. So it'd be 3 athletes there in this particular event, and this really has the potential on a worldwide scale to be a 1, 2, 3.
Well, the qualification time for the S6 is 3:06, if I remember right.
I think Ellie missed it by 100th of a second.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm sure Ellie will be able to convert. I know she's been working hard with her coach Billy Pye, and again, that'll be a 4th Paralympic Games, which would be an incredible achievement. Will she go for 5? I think. Who knows?
It's only 3 years away.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a short one, short cycle this time, isn't it? So I
think we'll get into that in another podcast, whether we will see a lot of swimmers not hanging up the trunks at the end of Tokyo and actually going through to Paris, because there's going to be so many races in between now and then, purely because the calendar's all been pushed back, 18 months?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
So they've got more targets to go for, and then the Olympic cycle is even shorter. You've got a quicker window to get to.
Yes, yeah.
This is going to be a really good race. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, so it's a shame that we don't have all the S6s lined up right next to each other in the lanes. But that,
Yeah, because I'm sure the camera will concentrate on the battle in the middle.
Yeah,
but where the real races will be about 30 seconds behind, 15, 20 seconds behind. So, let's hope all 3 of them can go under the qualification standard and tick their name on the list.
I mean, give or take, they were all about 4 or 5 seconds off their PBs this morning. Usually, going off based off earlier swims, they're all going about 1 or 2 seconds quicker, which would be ideal for Ellie Simmons. Then she's guaranteed a place for Tokyo, which I'm sure she would get anyway. But I'm going to be watching Casey Crowhurst. I just want to see if she's going to PB yet again. That's a bit of a big ask, going from basically a 3-second PB to knock even more off, but I don't know, I wouldn't bet against her.
Well, it's a good confidence builder, this event, for her races later on in the meet, because this isn't her target event.
Yeah, that's right.
She went in, this is kind of blowing out the cobwebs first day, and then for the rest of the meet, she can build upon what has been a really, really good performance on day 1.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
So I think the thing to watch out for here with the S6 race is Grace has obviously touched first, but Butterfly, I think we can all safely say is a more arm-dominated stroke, and so she'll kind of take the lead over the first 50% of this race, and watch Maisie and Ellie come back with a more log-dominated strokes in terms of breaststroke and freestyle. So obviously Ellie's got a great engine in terms of she won gold both at London, Rio, and Beijing in the 400 freestyle. So expected to come back really, really strong in the last kind of 25% of this race.
I sort of find that Maisie doesn't really have a weak stroke. She just seems to be
consistent.
Very consistent on every stroke. It's rare to see, and she's got it, which makes sense for her being the world record holder, I suppose.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the hallmark of a good medley swimmer is the fact that you can't notice when you drop off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, it's very difficult to do breaststroke without your legs. I was never really want to try it in training, but I can just imagine how tough it would be.
It's really difficult. It's a really good drill, actually, because we curate the drag, and it's all about that kind of pectoral muscle, and that kind of catch is so important in breaststroke. That initial catch, and you'll see, obviously, the best breaststroke in the world, Adam Peaty. You see his shoulders and his chest are absolutely massive because he does drills like that where he just doesn't use his legs just to generate that power. So then when he has the power from his legs that he works so hard in the gym, to kind of get him through that rhythm, it's remarkable. So it is really difficult without your legs because it's all about time in breaststroke, and being as streamlined for as long as possible. When breaststroke's the least streamlined stroke of them all. So Ellen has just touched there at 2:25, so she's got 40 seconds to get back.
Abby Kane has just gone 7 seconds faster than her morning heat swim.
Brilliant.
That's a huge improvement.
That's a huge improvement.
And it's not unusual in medley swims because these guys know that they're going to make the final. To come back and swim faster on the night time, they know it's game time. So I see, again, a really good swim heat.
I was going to say, Grace Harvey's just PB'd and beat Maisie Summers-Newton.
Wow, huge
Ellie
swim.
Simmons has dropped her time just.
So all three are under the qualification time. Awesome.
Brilliant.
And Katie Crowhurst has got another PB down.
Yeah, I can't believe that. That is insane. What a birthday it's been.
Tell you what, she's knocked another second off. Wow.
So 4 seconds in one day. Jeez.
Blimey.
Can you imagine what she's going to do in her more favoured events? Wow.
Yeah.
So 3 more names on the team. That's unbelievable event, and one to really watch out for in the summer.
Definitely. We've got loads of depth there. And it obviously, would they now kind of be training together knowing that they're all picked and be driving each other on, or are they back off to their separate corners of the country?
Potentially. I know that Grace is based in Manchester. I'm not sure where Maisie is. I think Ellie's in Manchester as well. So I assume they'll be training together, but because of their differing disabilities, I'm sure their training programs are completely different. Unless they're doing kind of pace work or something like that, it might not necessarily be something that they focus on together. And Billy has been working with Ellie since before Beijing. So they'll have their program down to a T. And I'm sure when Ellie gets to Tokyo, she'll be in a bit more, I'm not going to say competitive because it's still a really quick time, but she'll be, challenging Maisie and Grace for the gold medal.
Yeah, I was going to say, because she's slightly off pace. She has been at the last Manchester meets as well, but I feel like she hasn't really tapered much. I think she knows she's going to Tokyo. I think so. I think she's properly targeting it and doing a full training cycle. Yeah.
And she'll have other events just to swim through. So it'd just be interesting to see how she goes in the 100 breaststroke. I'm not sure if she's doing the 400 freestyle. I'm not sure, but if she is, it'd be interesting to see how she goes in that as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Dan, your favourite para swimmer's back in the water, Jordan Catchpole. He can't get enough of racing.
I don't have favourites, but Jordan is doing very well. But I wouldn't say he's more suited to the 200 IM. He's more of a backstroke and freestyle, I would say. But 200 IM is usually the sort of event that you target as a youngster. So usually, hopefully, most swimmers should have a decent 200 IM. And he goes in second fastest here, who behind Alex Portal, I want to say, I think he's French, who took it out like a rocket this morning.
I was going to say he's a good 8 seconds faster than the rest of the field here.
Yeah, and
although
at the same time,
Whiston on paper is personal best.
Well, that Reese Dunn 200 IM reminds me of Jimmy Guy's 200 fly. It was the easiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Just took the foot off the pedal.
He was gliding so much in his breaststroke. He barely kicks on his front crawl. So yeah, I would imagine he would be actually the in terms of racing, he's going to touch the wall first, but I think he's got a higher classification, hasn't he? Instead of Alex Portal, I think he's S13. If I remember right, I need to check that. But Reese, of course, is S14. Yeah.
Jack, what's your opinion on that in terms of taking the heats easy when you know you're qualifying for a final at this sort of meet? What would you prefer to do? Would you save your energy, or would you like to test your race skills and race speed?
I tried doing it once. Actually, for the London trials at the Aquatic Centre, at the trials there, and went easy-ish on the 200 medley in the morning, and it was a pretty decent swim. But then I didn't feel like I was prepared for the final later on. So if I had my time again, I probably wouldn't go about it that way and just try and, this opportunity. So your heat is an opportunity to qualify. Your final is an opportunity to qualify, unless it's stipulated in the selection policy, which I don't think it is. So every time you step up onto the blocks is a chance to qualify. So, and if you take that one of those opportunities away from yourself, then the only person you're harming is your chance of making the team. So for me, it's a case of you've just got to go hell for leather from every opportunity you've got at the trials, because your trainability, your fitness is not going to change from morning to night. So you're fresh, you're ready to go. So heat is one of the best, one of the best times to go and hit it.
We do usually see, when it comes to the biggest stage of all, that world records are sometimes set in semi-finals rather than finals. There's a lot less pressure on the shoulders, and swimmers feel a lot more comfortable in the water.
Yeah, and also they've had a hit out usually in the morning, so they can look back at what they did before they have to wait another 24 hours, which might be their first swim of the day. So the fact that happens more often than not, it's no surprise. And also heat and finals on the same day, like I said, just gives you the opportunity to put, some of the mistakes that you may have, made in the morning. Make sure you can put those right in the nighttime.
Yeah. So Dan, start list for this 200 meters IM final for the guys.
Well, very quickly, because they've just dived in. Lane 0's Martinez Fernandez. Lane 1, Jack Milne. Lane 2, Louis Lawler. Lane 3, Reese Dunn. Lane 4, Alex Portal. 5 is Jordan Catchpole. 6, Reese Davis. 7, Dylan Broom. Lane 8, Emmerich Parmentia. And lane 9, Mark Malia, I think.
He's spot on with these pronunciations tonight. The time I'm looking for these S14 summers is 2:12:52, which again is really quite quick. So not 100% sure if we'll see that trouble tonight, but just have to wait and see.
I mean, Reese Dunn's PB is a 2:08.
2:08. Yeah.
So he's perfectly capable. It's whether.
Well, he's a fantastic freestyler, so of course he's going to bring it back on the last length. It's just whether he's put enough in the first half of the race, you see. But I imagine he'll be all right. What was that time you just said again? 2:10?
2:12:51.
Oh, 2:12. Yeah, I think he'll be all right. Well, we'll see. We'll find out, won't we? Halfway mark.
61.4. It's a really good split.
Yeah, I think he might be on track. But we'll see. Fingers crossed. Jordan Catchpole also going with him, actually.
But this is always I found was the most pivotal part of the 200 medley. The breaststroke leg is the one it makes or breaks a race.
We call it the leveler.
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
Because if you watch the best medley swimmers in the world, but Lochte and Phelps, and you watch those guys, and the amount of they just made the other three strokes look easy, whereas breaststroke always just didn't look like the natural kind of stroke. But they put so much hard work and time into kind of getting it up to a reasonable standard that. What's the world record? 54 dead, is it? Something like 154 dead, something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I think the start list that we got given is wrong here. I don't think Reese Dunn's swimming.
He's not swimming?
No, looking at the times flashing up in the top left-hand corner, I haven't spotted him so far this race. This is Alex Portal.
Yeah, he's going in for...
He's gone at 2:09.
Comfortable, yeah.
Yeah. He's a strong 200 IM, he is.
Absolutely. It's a really, really good swim for him. And here come the S14 swimmers. Reese Davis.
I was going to say, Jordan Catchpole looked like he just took the foot off the pedal there.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not quite sure what was going on.
Yeah,
interesting. That's really interesting because he didn't swim, or he pulled out of the final in the 100 freestyle, didn't he? So an interesting kind of finish to his race there. Maybe he was going for a splits or a training swim. He might be targeting another event. We don't know.
Possibly, yeah.
But yeah, I don't think anybody went anywhere near the qualification standard there in terms of from a British perspective. But looking forward to this 150 medley, which is next.
I'll tell you what, this was a monster race from this morning. There were, I think,
2 world records.
Yeah, there were 2 world records, and they weren't small world records. One was 6 seconds, one was 2 seconds. Lyndon broke a British record that stood for, I think it was 1999. That record stood for how long? So it's a monster swim, and well, I just think they're going to go better again. I don't know what you think, but this is one of these events that you don't normally see in swimming. It's 150 IM, so there's no butterfly.
Absolutely.
And that's due to classifications.
Yeah, so it's only S1 to S4, if I remember right, or SM1, SM to SM4.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have done this race. Miss out the fly, fine, perfect.
There's no butterfly events for anybody under S5, so that's why that's been dropped off the Paralympic program and off obviously the 200 meters individual medley. Yeah. So Lyndon, the time he's looking forward to make the team is a 2:39. So I think that might be a little bit too much of a stretch to knock 24 seconds off. But stranger things have happened at a Paris swimming meet, let me tell you.
Than a 24-second PB.
Well, mind you, Ellie Chalice, she did manage to do that, didn't she, in the 100 free?
She did.
At Manchester, I think it was 21 seconds, so, give or take. So you never know.
And he's got 2 new world record holders around him.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you know what? Racing against Ami Omar Dadion, I think that's going to give Lyndon a really good kind of insight into what a world class athlete is in the SM4 category. So, if anything, it's a really good learning swim for Lyndon to be swimming against such a high caliber athlete.
Yeah, definitely.
If I remember correctly, his PB this morning was in the 100 freestyle. So obviously he pulled out of that event or didn't make the B final or A final, and he's targeting this 150 IM.
Absolutely. Well, he may think it's his best chance of creating a bit more history.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
I can't believe we're on the last race of the evening already. It's flown by.
I know we're so used to doing this for like 2.5 hours, and yet it's been 45 minutes. Yeah, it does go flying by, doesn't it?
Oh. So, what's to look forward to? Just while we wait, because obviously COVID protocols. What are we looking forward to tomorrow morning?
Oh, I'm gonna have to get up the start list.
Yeah, so we've got women's 100 back, women's 50 breaststroke and 100 breaststroke. Hint, hint. And also the 50 backstroke as well to finish the session off. Obviously, I'll have a keen eye on the breaststroke events, but that men's 100 backstroke is going to be really, really competitive with the S14s again. So, be interesting to see how well they go.
Yeah, that British record has just been tumbling the past few months in that 100 backstroke.
Yeah, well, so that might be another one for Jordan Catchpole. Another swim for Jordan Catchpole.
It's Rhys Davis that has that British record, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
I think it is. I think he actually took it away from Jordan Catchpole at the Manchester meet, if I remember right. But yeah, that's probably the one I would circle, that 100 backstroke. But we'll pick your brains tomorrow for that breaststroke.
Definitely on the breaststroke.
For those breaststroke ones.
Absolutely. One to watch out for, Scott Quinn. Hopefully he has his lucky underwear on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see Scott is a mad individual. He is an absolute character, and he has all his little different mannerisms, but he is a very, very quick 100 breaststroke swimmer.
That's exactly what swimming needs, though. It needs those fun people.
Absolutely.
You just want to kind of be the stone-faced athlete.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bit more personality.
But he's so fast, they actually race against the able body, doesn't he? Especially for the 200. The 200, he broke a massive British record in that. So looking forward to when he does that later on this meet. But 100 first, of course, which is tomorrow. Really looking forward to it, yeah. There's some massive names to come up later on.
Okay. last race of the day. If anyone is still with us after we have finished with this final event, we will have a little bit of time to have a chat through. If there are any questions that anyone wants to submit to us, just leave it in the chat and we can answer them. If not, we will be back again tomorrow with Jack and in his favorite events, the breaststroke events.
We're back and we're ready to do it
for you, Jack.
all over again. No, yeah. I'm just really excited to see how it goes. Obviously, we're really strong in the S14 class in Britain, so let's just see how what kind of times these guys can put in and see how their preparation's gone over an extremely difficult period of time.
So, like we said before at the top of the show, this is kind of a mixed race, isn't it, Dan? There's 3 guys swimming this and 1 female as well, because they don't want her racing by herself.
Yeah, she was the only female to enter the race. So, of course, they thought it'd be best to put them all in one pool, which makes perfect sense to me.
I love it, yeah.
They have separated her out by look at things by 2 lanes, which I'm not quite sure why they've done that. I'm not sure if that makes any difference to the time pads or anything. But I'm just glad that they've mixed them together because it makes perfect sense.
At the same time, you could just put her in the middle of the pool here and they'd have a good race against each other.
Well, exactly. Literally. Yeah, exactly. So I am very glad that they've done that and not repeated what they did at Manchester and just have the one swimmer swimming by themselves. And I know there's no crowd on poolside, and so there's not really loads of eyes on the one swimmer. But at the same time, there is that extra added pressure, unnecessary pressure actually. So I'm glad that they're all racing together.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it is the breaststroke leg, especially in this event, that makes the big difference. Because a lot of these swimmers, it's all arms for these guys in the water right now.
Yeah, and you'll see the different breathing patterns. So normally, as an able-bodied athlete would swim, would take a breath on every stroke, but these guys are going to take a breath every other stroke, and it's all about finding and adapting your stroke to obviously fitting with the rules, but find what's quickest. Now,
so what is the rule on that? So you breathe at any stage, any stroke?
Yeah, I'm sure the same. I'm sure it's the same within able-bodied rules as well. It's just the kind of the process and the timing of the stroke and breaststroke with able-bodied swimming feels more natural to kind of come up with the stroke, doesn't it? But if you haven't got any propulsion from your legs, then you'd be able to kind of go through another quick rep, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Well, it makes sense that if you keep your head down lower, it brings your hips higher. So that's why I would have thought to do 2-3 strokes, keeping your head down.
And you're in a more streamlined position.
You're in
a more streamlined position, and you can move through the water a bit quicker. So, what time did Ami do this morning? He went a 2:38.
I was going to say that's another world record there, I believe.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
2:35.
Blimey. Is that 2:40 there?
Yeah, 2:40. Just missed on her world record, but at the same time, you've got a world record in the morning, and then you've only gone a second slower in the evening.
Here comes Lyndon. Can he break that British record yet again?
And lo and behold, the timing doesn't work.
But
3:05. No, he's gone a bit slower than he went.
Bit slower.
Unlucky, but again, a wonderful swim this morning, and like I said, a really good learning swim for him to be against someone of Ami's caliber.
So is he quite new to the para stage, Lyndon?
Lyndon's been around as long as I can remember. So he was there the first weekend I ever saw him at a para meet in 2009. And then when I moved up to the Northeast, he was literally everywhere. So he was quite friendly with Dragon's Den Dragon, Duncan Bonatime.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And he's done quite a lot of work with Meningitis UK, and it's been really, really inspirational in kind of raising awareness of people suffering from meningitis. And he decided to move programs. He moved down to Manchester, the High Performance Centre after London, I think. That move didn't kind of work out for him, went back home to Durham, then moved over to Derwenside, where he's at the minute. So, he's been around the block a little bit, but that's quite comfortably one of the best swims and, the best kind of shape I've seen him in for a long, long time.
Always improving. That's what you like to see, especially as you get older through the sport. It gets harder and harder to improve.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think strength is becoming more of a factor as you get older now. I always remember seeing a picture of him. Actually, he's got the Olympic bar across his shoulders. So he's obviously noticing that strength is a factor that needs to be improved, and it's clearly working for him anyway.
Absolutely, and the adaptations that are required, and just finding the way of working and building muscle and building strength. You can't get that straight away, and that's going to take time to learn and develop. And maybe he's reaping the rewards of all that work of finding ways in which to maximize performance.
So, final race done. Day one in the books. What were the standout swims for you guys?
Stephen Clegg was a massive one. I think him going under the qualification time, and then the women's 200 medley, the S6 race between Ellie Simmons, Maisie Summer-Newton, and Grace Harvey. That's going to be a really, really interesting one to watch in the summer.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that 200 IM. To have 3 S6 swimmers guarantee their place is phenomenal, and I really do hope that we get all 3 medals at Tokyo with that as well. That would be phenomenal. Hannah Russell needs a mention as well.
Of course,
qualifying as well. But yeah, I mean the plane is slowly filling up. We're going to hopefully fit some more people in on tomorrow and the days after as well.
Absolutely. Definitely. And there was more qualification times this morning, wasn't there? So I think Tully Kearney went under qualification time this morning. Yeah. So yeah, after day one, there's already quite a few members of the team already put their name on the list for a plane ticket to go to Tokyo. So yeah, it's really exciting, really good day one, and we're back again tomorrow to do it all over again.
Yeah, I wonder if actually that's why Lyndon pulled out of the 100 freestyle, because he hit that qualification time in the morning and he thought, well, I'll tell you what, let's target just one in the evening. Let's rest up slightly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, so that rounds up day one of the British Paraswimming International Meet up in Sheffield. That is our coverage from Propulsion Swimming on day one. We will be back tomorrow at the same time, giving our live and expert opinions, live reactions, alternative commentary from myself, Scott. I will see you tomorrow. Dan, you want to say a word?
From Dan? No, I'll just copy what you say. So yes, we'll see you all tomorrow. Hopefully the plane fills up like we said before. And of course, hopefully Jack will be joining us too to give his expert opinion on the breaststroke races.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jack, for joining us.
Absolutely, and I'll see you same time tomorrow.
Great stuff. Excellent. Okay, thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow.